Note number 2 about Sui China is that Sui revived Confucianism as civil service exam system for government positions grew. So basically, Confucianism likes to use a merit-based system to respect those in government positions. And so he was reviving these classical aspects of China's history. Note number 3 is that Sui leaders built the Grand Canal, a 1,400-mile-long channel linking the Huanghe and Yangtze rivers. So this was pretty influential. You can see how this channel is linking and giving transportation and connection to all of these different places in China. Note number 4, the Grand Canal allowed southern rice production and northern millet production to reinforce each other so they could trade and really support these mutually beneficial businesses in China. Note number 5, tea and silk production during the Sui Dynasty in China expanded due to this Grand Canal, which makes sense. It's an awesome feat of irrigation and technology. In 618 AD, there were rebellions and a failed attempt to conquer Korea, which led to the end of the Sui Dynasty. So that dynasty's decisions in trying to capture Korea led to rebellions and crumbling from within. So after the Sui Dynasty in China, we have the Tang Dynasty in China. In 618 AD, Li Huan, who was the leader of one of the rebellions, proclaimed himself the emperor of the Tang Dynasty. Note number 2, Li Huan was a nomad who had both Chinese and Turkish ancestry. He favored military discipline. Li Huan and his son Tang Taizong built a vast empire, and they were able to gather Korea, Vietnam, and Tibet as tributary states in their empire. So they really expanded China's influence. Note number 4, the Tang revitalized that wonderfully fascinating Silk Road. And along the Silk Road that you can see pictured here were traded silk, paper, porcelain. There was a lot of trade between people in China and Muslims in the Middle East at this point. Note number 5, there was an equal field system which earned the loyalty of peasants. They were forced to pay taxes to the Tang emperors as payment for land. So they would get to work some land, and then in return they had to pay taxes. Note number 6, the Tang era is considered a golden age of poetry. One of their famous poets is called Li Bo, and he stressed freedom of spirit, love of nature. Another poet named Du Fu emphasized social justice and suffering. And what's to be learned from these? Note number 7, merchants under Tang China and many times in China were considered lower status than peasants, because the idea was the peasants are working with themselves with their manual labor to bring this necessity of food, and that merchants are just trading things that other people have worked for and taking a profit. So unusually for world cultures, peasants had more respect, and farmers at this time in China and many times in China than in other places in the world. Number 8, upper class women were allowed to own land, be seen in public, and to remarry. But marriages were always arranged within social classes. And please spell arrange correctly. I did not there. Number 9, here is an empress, another female leader, Wu Zhao, and she was the only woman in Chinese history to rule in her own name. I think we should look her up in the textbook. Note number 10, 907 AD,